Hi, my name is Flannery. I'm the choreographer and performer in Fetish Wonderland.
Hello, peace. My name is Uhura, producer, director, and dancer in Fetish Wonderland. So it's definitely not reality. It's outside of this universe, outside of this realm, but it's also everyone's reality simultaneously in their subconscious. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's the story of one specific woman. Her name is Ginger Snatch, and she's our Alice character, where she explores all these different parts of
Sexuality.
her sexuality through layers of her subconscious, and each character represents a different part of suppressed things in her housewife nature.
She's a housewife. That's where the husband and the wife comes in.
She's a male pleaser.
Okay.
Subordinate femme. My stage name is Uhura Sexuality. And then my performance name for the dance is Deck of Cards. So you remember in Alice in Wonderland how they had the deck of cards who were painting the roses red.
Yes.
So that's my character.
Okay.
I'm going to be the host of the show. I put the signs up for the show, and I also do a dance where I represent the man of society as well as the so-called bottom of society, which is the femme.
Okay.
Other characters are the main girl, Ginger Snatch, Alice.
She's Alice. Yep, we got her.
Ginger Snatch. Not Snatch.
Make sure you got that. That's snatch. As in vagina.
As in snatch power.
Exactly.
Hashtag snatch power.
The whole story going through her, essentially in her dreamland. Then we meet the Rouge Rabbit, which is our play on the White Rabbit.
The bunny.
The bunny, who is a man dressed as a woman, which alludes her into this sexual escape where she gets to explore herself and other people through herself. So he's like the elusive, like, what is it exactly? You don't know if he's a guy or a girl.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Exactly. So like we started off with him, so it just gets weirder from there.
I like it. That's the beginning of going down the hole.
Exactly.
Also known as the snatch, as in hashtag snatch power.
Going down the snatch hole.
Exactly. Next is the Mad Hater, or Mad Hatter.
Okay.
I come in masked, and the whole character is just kind of like the bitch of the group. That's always just like, I'm the one that's always like, man, fuck, man. I'm the man hater. I'm the like, I'm gonna eat your face person. Yeah, and I do contortion, so it's all just about like things being twisted and literally and figuratively.
She's rocking that gas mask.
Yeah, I have a gas mask and a body paint. The Mary character you saw is also the Queen of Hearts. So she runs all the drones. So our Virgin Mary is also like the queen bitch.
So Mary's innocence is not so innocent.
Right. So she seems like perfect, beautiful, but then she like essentially goes crazy and gets caught in her veil by the end of it.
Oh, that's deep.
Right. Next is the Cheshire Pussy.
Yeah.
Is the devil character.
Okay.
So she's the elusive one that kind of puts it all together. She wins essentially in the end, and we all obey her. We do whatever she wants.
She turns out to be not so wicked after.
Nah, she's just a freak. The last one's the caterpillar character, which we call the Cater to You pillar. She's a robot.
Destiny's Child.
Exactly. just putting that out there.
Little Beyonce.
Genius.
Along with the other deities, Beyonce will be
Mad
represented.
Hater, Cater to You, Deck of Cards.
I like
Yeah,
it.
sorry, my shit.
I came up with the Ginger Snatch though.
Take all of that, take all of it. But the robot character is like, she's very cold, she's a robot literally, and so she doesn't like being touched. She's like the asexual of the group that's kind of just there to watch. And there's also a whole smoke fetish.
Okay.
But she has an e-cigarette, is the updated version, and for the caterpillar.
Got it.
Who smokes hookah anymore? That's a great question.
Yeah, I actually want a t-shirt that says I am Ginger Snatch. Because that's where everything started, was with the main character, Ginger Snatch. And that was like a reflection of my life as I call myself a poor black woman living in a rich non-black man's world. And so that was like my character. I started out in the Midwest in the Bible Belt trying to adhere to like patriarchal society standards of what a woman should be. And like literally everybody in my circle, like their dream is to be proposed to and like married, and like not to knock that because it's a blessing and like bless all of my friends, but you realize like how it's set up to where you're just like here to please men rather than you're your own entity, you're your own being. And so that's where it all started, was Ginger Snatch. And my personal like relationship history, like my first love, I was trying to be like that perfect little housewife figure and like trying to please him and cook for him. I can't even cook, like my specialty is cheese and crackers, and I'm like trying to actually do stuff. And then I broke up with him and just found my liberation, and that is going down the rabbit hole again, like is finding your liberation of like womanhood and sexuality and like all of it, you know. So I would say I am Ginger Snatch. It's hard to follow. We are all Ginger Snatch. Exactly.
Right, we're all Ginger
I was
Snatch,
going to
right?
say that right off the top, that everyone has had that process of finding themselves and learning about their sexuality through not only yourself but through other people, obviously.
Right.
But I would say at this point, I'm more like the Cheshire pussy. Since not only I conduct this whole dance, but also I, in real life, happen to be one of those people that kind of, I don't know how to say it, like shows what people don't see normally. And so not only did I get to bring dance to these people and these ideas to people, but we worked together to kind of flesh out the whole concept. So it's like both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Where she knew what she wanted and I brought it.
Right. Excellent. I like that team up, Ginger Snatch and the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah,
that seems awesome.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is we're trying to improve, innovate everything, all of the arts that we partake in. And so I am a fashion model, but I consider myself more of a performance model because I've always tried to bring more than just being a hanger, as they like to say in the industry, like you're just a hanger and I'm not. And so I think fashion is at that point where it needs to be renewed and updated as well, and like people are just kind of getting tired and bored with fashion industry. Fuck fashion, I got it right there. Give me fashion, give me fashion, or give me death. Uhura fashion, fuck fashion. And so that's like my stage name for the show is Uhura Sexuality because I'm focusing on freedom of sexuality, but in life I'm Uhura Fashion, which is fashion freedom. And so this whole thing is just about liberating the fashion industry from its standards of like, this is what a model looks like, this is what how a model walks, this is what the standard of beauty is, and also this is what a fashion show looks like. And so just trying to make it more fun because people who aren't that into fashion can actually come to this show and enjoy it because they're like, wow, I got to see dance, I got to see beautiful men and women perform, and I even got to like now see the beauty of fashion and like the power of fashion versus like I'm just here to see clothes walk down this corner.
Right.
Can I tell you about the designer?
Please do.
Okay, her name is Botany Kalfani. She's from Leimert Park, Los Angeles, and she makes beautiful couture dresses and designs. She is a Pan-African woman. I don't want to put a title on her, but she's a so-called black woman, you know. There's another designer who's going to be doing the menswear, and her name is Mary Moultrie, and she has a boutique called Modern Vintage Today in East Hollywood. And she's a boutique owner and a designer and a model, and she is providing the men's clothing. And she's also a woman of African descent from America. And so that's just snatch power, that's black power, that's just power.
Yeah.
Been doing burlesque for about two or 3 years. I trained and danced my whole life, did all sorts of every different thing you can name. And by the time I got old enough where it's like, oh, join a company, do the whole thing, I realized that not only did I like to dance, but I liked to choreograph and I liked to make costumes. And I like to be in charge of the whole process of set and lighting and everything. So I kind of took it upon myself that from right in the beginning of my career, I wanted to do something that I was completely in control of. So I was only in a modern company for a couple months, and it was like, not my thing. But so I made it a point to do everything based around one concept, which is my stage name is Lady Tramp. So not only am I obviously female, woman, power, all of that good stuff, but also I'm a wanderer. I like to look at different things, learn about different things. What interests me most are new things and also how to integrate things that don't seem like they would be related at all, which is where a lot of the character development comes from. Yeah, and also music fascinates me. I work on music primarily. Like, I never count out things or do. That's not how I work, unfortunately, for some of the people in the show. But just it's very easy for me to listen to a song and know immediately what I would do.
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, I did the costumes also. I just did that.
Okay.
But I made all the costumes.
Now you made the costume. Costume maker.
Costume.
I like it. All right.
Okay, this is funny. So we actually met on the Metro. Go Metro, LA! Just randomly, I was with another friend, and she was like all low key in the corner trying to be antisocial, but she was like sketching in her journal. And I was being nosy. I like peep over, and I saw like this sick drawing, and I was like, dang! I was like, excuse me. I was like, did you draw that? Like, do you do tattoos by chance? And then she actually started talking. She was like, oh, I like your boots, you know, and all this stuff. So we just had this conversation about her art. It just started with her art, and she actually like showed me some stuff in her journal, and I was thinking like, dang, this girl is like low-key, she's like a dope-ass film artist, you know? And that was that, though. Like, I got off the bus, and that was the end of it.
Right, that's that.
And then the next day,
a couple days later,
it was like literally the next day,
it was,
right?
yeah, it was like, I don't know, 1 or 2 days later.
Yeah.
We were at a Burbs show, actually.
Burbs is the homie.
Yeah.
Hashtag that.
Hashtag Burbs is the homie,
and so
absolutely.
she was hanging out with her friend, and then my friend is Troy, who is like his hype man type person.
And he's in a band.
And he's
Beautiful voice, Troy. Wow.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Troy's amazing.
He's a good kid.
This machine kills zombies.
Exactly.
The original best. Sir Troy.
So anyway, we're at the show and we're both watching it, and then I look over and I'm like, hey, I met that girl on the bus. Naturally, I had a bag of wine in my mini backpack.
Naturally.
Cardboard box.
Exactly.
Naturally.
Thank you. And so I was like, hey, we met on the bus. Want to go drink? And she was like, want to go smoke? Magic. Boom. The universe spoke.
Intoxicant.
Exactly.
And in that conversation, they were all some random guy who was trying to hit on her and me at the same time.
Yeah,
low-key.
Yeah, exactly.
He was like, oh, what are you guys doing right now? And then we went around the circle, and I was like, oh, I'm actually trying to produce this show that I have in my mind. And then they're like, oh, what's it about? I told them, and then she's like, burlesque. She's like, I do burlesque.
Yeah.
And then right on the bat, like my energy knew, because I follow my intuition. I follow that third eye, and I'm like, dude, I was like, you want to choreograph the show? You know? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't even seen her dance, so then post that when I saw her dance, in her most recent dance of crowning herself as queen. Yeah. I was just like, what? Hallelujah, praise.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my last piece. Was called Astray. It was a solo piece, and the whole thing is centered around like this woman scared of her crown, and she crowns herself and bounces.
Yes.
Yeah. And so she saw that, and
The
she was
old
just
crown
like,
and bounce.
I saw that, and I like brought to tears / orgasm / bowing down. Like, yes, thank you.
I like it.
Yeah.
And that was my often.
Ah, good.
Snatch power!
We love you.
We love you.
Relax.